the housing authority's decision, then they'll issue an order. That court order is the legal basis for the eviction. So the tenant, I think, is given, 24 hours to move out. If they still haven't, based on that court order, then the housing authority can take that to the police and have them physically removed from the unit. So that's how it's set up now. The eviction notice has to be given under tribal law 10 days after they've lost the right to be in the unit. So the question was, is there a grace period in there if the court hasn't issued a ruling in the case? And as I understand it, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen this actually play out in real life. So this is the process, so this is how I think it would play out. But during the period when the court is issuing its ruling, the tenant still has the right to remain in the unit. So it's just pending that case, pending the decision. So during that time, the tenant would remain in the unit. And as far as like timelines for when the court issues its decision, that's all under tribal law, and I think a lot of it is discretionary on the court, on the judge.
I just wanted to add under the new ordinance for the jurisdiction under here for judicial review, there is 19-12-106. There's a provision in here for emergency injunctive relief. And so under emergency injunctive relief, you can ask the court to stay any actions until a decision is pending. So under civil procedure, the court's jurisdiction, that's kind of outlined in the ordinance. But so I think that another thing too is due process notice and the opportunity to present your case should be available at all stages. That just comes from me representing folks in court before, and I think you should always have a bite at the apple in an administrative review. And if you're ever grieved, you should always have a chance to file in tribal court. And if you are able to prove a certain burden, I think the court should be able to stay any administrative action until it's fully decided. Of course, there's some civil restrictions on that, but that was kind of the point of the judicial review, is to allow the tenants to present their side of the story as long as it's fully documented. They've had a chance and opportunity to present their case. Reason why that's really important too is because when the board or the housing authority acts to do an eviction, everything is documented, and if they're right in their decision, the court is more inclined to uphold that decision. And so more process, more notice, more opportunity to participate will provide a stronger foundation to the final decision. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with the new ordinance also.
Dennis, one of the things that the constituents were kind of wanting was an audit on, the housing, like the tenants, paying, and what's going on with the financial part of it. What can the housing do to let these constituents know what, the money issues on that, like tenants paying and where's all that going? These are some things that they would like to know. Can you elaborate on it a little bit?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think currently, if you're asking about right now while this replacement ordinance is being considered and hammered out, currently I would probably suggest that you talk to your district representative. They generally get financial reports during the board meetings from the housing authorities. So if your district representative is aware of right, I'm not saying that they're doing that currently, but I'm saying they could. And that would probably be the person that'd be the most knowledgeable from this community. Yeah, bring it up to your commissioner. I mean, you could, from a legislative perspective, if you wanted to require that to be included in the quarterly reporting that's done before the legislature, I would just state that to the board in writing further.
I think right now that is a requirement in the ordinance, Dennis, isn't it? That's a requirement, which you stated. Financial reporting, that's a requirement for the general counsel.
Right, but what I understand you're talking about is
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think it states it right here. Financial reporting, in the ordinance itself. This is the old one. Let me read it off.
to the general counsel.
I think it's here. Right. Is it Article 4? The board members. Dennis, what page is that on this existing ordinance here where there's reporting? What page is that? Okay, I'll read this. This is the existing ordinance. This is the existing ordinance, and it has the reporting. The question was the reporting. The authority shall submit an annual report signed by the chairman of the board to the council showing A summary of year's activity, B, the financial conditions of the authority. So that's the question there, the financial part. It's supposed to be reported. The council showing, C, conditions of properties, D, the numbers of units and vacancies, any significant problems, accomplishments, plans for the future, other information as the authority council shall be deemed appointed maybe. I don't know, there's some of the words here, Dennis, are kind of hard to read here. I don't know if they ran out of ink when they're printing this or what. But it's on there. The reporting's on there, on the old. So we should have a report on that. That kind of answer your guys' question. It's on there. The floor is open. The floor is open.
Well, Brandon, you guys did the quick as far as the budget goes,
Okay, I'll address the question. Your question is, have we ever gotten any of the reporting? No, we haven't. As far as this year, the financial reporting, we haven't received, but we had, I requested a couple weeks ago, that we had the housing director come, and he kind of just gave us a brief overview, but we haven't received any of the financials and what it all requires. We haven't received that, but we did get an overview summary from the housing director himself, but not from the board.
Junior mentioned that with the old ordinance, the process was on the floor for the appointment to the board. Is that right? Is that how it's supposed to be?
On that old one, during council, yeah, they would bring their nomination, their nominee, and then I guess they would vote on that as the whole tribe. That's what they did. So now today, I guess the chairman picks them. The chairman delegates whoever he wants from each district. And well, for me, I just found that out during our session who they were.
So that doesn't fit.
Yeah, it doesn't. To us, it doesn't fit. It's all under one branch, I guess.
There needs to be that check and balance.
I, Christy Oka, do solemnly swear that the testimony I am about to provide in the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before the honorable committee legislators, so help me God. Brandon, Hina, did we talk about this like meetings before in the spring or something? Okay, and what you gathered is this now, today? Accountability goal, that's what we want to bring, is lagi tenants that are not paying for their housing. And in that meeting, I remember that as Crow people, we were freely given homes and back in my grandpa's days, his home, he built that home that was homes all over the res that where funding was brought in. They applied for those applications. They were selected. They helped build that home on their property. And because these people put hard work into that home, they took care of it. Housing, they selected people and gave them that home, because it was freely given. And say bago namazo halakadam lagi there, you hear testimonies of people, their houses were remodeled 3 times. They trash it, they remodel it again. What does that, how do they get remodeled 3 times when they can trash it every time? Because they know they can. Hitalage hina housing that if we were to select people, they should put some hard labor and sweat and work into that home too. Remember we were mentioning that. Do you remember that, Brandon? Anybody at that meeting? They would have ownership. They build their homes from their own pocket. They take care of it. They fix it, they paint it, they invest in that home. As Crow people, we look suck. And I think this is like asking for accountability. Even rent. I think they're gonna have to put a real tight rope on when we start this whole process, and lagi veterans homes got accountability. They selected some people and they're already trashing that new building. I mean, that's beside the point, but still those are homes. They were free apartments furnished, given to some people, and they just took advantage of it. Hey, talage na to you're revising that 1977 to this new one, housing ordinance, and Allah related balage. I think you just want to establish accountability. That's just it. And fairness. We all want fairness. We're sick of politics. If I'm not in favor, I don't get to work for the tribe, or I don't get a home, or something like that. We're sick of that. Man, my mind isn't. Know what I'm going to do with John later. Hit down. Oh, now subdivision. So this is going to be another housing block. We don't want to live in a block together. I'm just kidding. We want to live out in the country, in our beautiful country, out in the country where there's trees and no train going by. But I guess that's not possible, huh? It is? Who wants to live in a block housing? Who wants to live like housings? I I want to live out in the country. And if I could buy a home before then, but I think balakpage do balay so charge. You go on the back side of the roads in the country. That land is beautiful. But we want to live close to the road, right by the store, right by the railroad tracks. We gotta go live out in the country. And I vote for my comment, and my concern is that we put these homes in the country. We don't need to live in town. I'm done being a town kid. So that's my concern. Common stawish the Koganag Oigo Kuil community. Igu Kukala. Or forever hold your peace. Oh.
Thank you, Christy. We have it on here. Tribal lands, residential leasing. 19-40101, residential leasing of tribal lands and tribal housing units. Tribal lands and tribal housing units may be leased for residential purposes for tribal members as provided in the chapter, provided that lease of tribal land shall include more than 2.5 acres for the term exceeding 50 years. So if there's some tribal land out there, you can lease that for 2.5 acres. Right now, kind of off the side though, there's a bill that's kind of sitting in committee. It's called Act and Disposal, where you can get your correct me if I'm wrong, senators, but you can get your property that you have and trade it with the tribe for the amount set aside, whether it's a tract or whatever, what have you. That's still in committee, but like I said, if you want to live out there, that's even more better, more power. Because like I said, it'd be good to live in the country. Crow Housing Authority came over and visited with the legislators a few weeks back, and they were saying that, or was it the Housing Authority? I forgot which branch came over, but they said they'd probably be able to start making log homes. If they get some log homes, they should be able to start building. That'd be an option for houses out in the country or wherever they desire to have their home at. Okay. The floor is open. Come forward. Come forward. Come forward. Come forward. We are the mighty few. We're a force to be reckoned with. Mighty few. Okay. I just wanted to make a quick comment. As I was the chairman of the Judicial Subcommittee, and in 2004 we worked on the Finance Protection and Procedures Act. It was myself, Sean Wilbert, and Jimmy Wilbert as the housing director. The Finance Protection and Procedures Act allows an individual to build on trust property, 2.5-acre home site, through a bank lending agency or Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or whoever. I don't even know if those are still operating after the fall of was that 2008. But that's an option right now. So if you have land out in the country and you want a house built out there, you can go through this program, and it's lending, and it's between you and the bank. The bank will lend to you. So there's one of the reasons we liked this idea was because it minimized politics. It kind of put the tribe on the side, and it allowed the individual who's applying for the home to work directly with the bank. Kind of went around the tribe a little bit. But it's still on trust property, it's still a 2.5-acre home site, and it's a loan for you it's a mortgage on the lease. So that's an option that's currently available today. Thank you. You got any other comments?
Did it say on there how you guys were going to elect the board members? The new one. The drafted one. I mean, how you're going to appoint? Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, look. Say, I don't know, I'm just putting an option out there as well. The community members, Nalage, would you rather have them appoint someone, or would you rather have them do an election? Does an election bring division, or does it bring fairness, or how do these people get picked? Votes go. Vote. Now what am cook vote kapaw cake? Secret ballot. Who would want secret ballot? 1, 2. 2. Only 2? 3, 4, 5, 6. And for them to cookie di Joyce by taka, we want to hear the people look up. Hey, look, would you rather have them appoint kaleo kuk favor all in. Heb bin kamalas kawirima. Kuyed. Balas kawirach karamela chat. So, laga gunarsin. We need to think of that. Yeah, secret ballot. So 6 out of 12. So 50-50. Gada wish to show up.
Any more comments on the stand-up?
Yeah, like I said, this is not set in stone yet. Just it's a draft. Like I said, this came from the district. And like I said, what the district wants is that at the end of the day, it's what you guys want. Any other questions? Concerns?
What's the board is picked, don't they make up the policy and procedure for the whole reservation?
For here in the whole reservation,
Yeah.
I'll read. Okay, Board of Commissioners, the Housing Authority on 19-2101 of the draft.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the draft or
Yes.
the proposal? Okay. The Housing Authority shall be governed by the Board of the Commissioners, which shall be comprised of 6 members of the General Council, 1 representing each Crow Reservation district. So mighty few will have 1 representative. He or she will be with the other 6 district members of each district. So we'll have 1 General Council representing each Crow Reservation district. So Lodgegrass will have 1. We'll have 1. So on and so forth. Those 6 members representing each reservation district, and who shall serve unlimited fixed 4-year terms. Each member of the Board of Commissioners shall be a district housing commissioner with such power and duty to provide in Chapter 3 of the Housing Ordinance. Housing commissioners shall be entitled to receive $500 payment each month, subject to any restrictions and conditions contained in the annual Crow Tribal budget or executive branch policy. The Board of Commissioners shall appoint from their membership a presiding officer to conduct meetings and review hearings. Floor is open. Questions? Okay, I'll turn it over to legal. Maybe have a question or concern, comment.
So just to follow up with that, I believe your question was the rules that they make will govern all districts. For the draft, you'll see that under 19-106, which is the rulemaking authority. You've got 1 through 6, and then 19-2-107 is legislative review of administrative rules. So once they promulgate these rules, they'll have 30 days to present it to the legislature. So, and when it comes to the legislature, it'll come in the form of a jar, and on behalf of the legislature, we would publish, and so the public can see what's being proposed. So, yeah, I think that answers your question.
Any other questions? Comments? If not, Senator Wilbert has a comment.
Again, na housing saija. I wanted Dennis to kind of talk about what went on in housing, because Court Dog Housing Authority and what the things that were going on with housing.